All right guys, so we're back out here today and I want to show you something on these, on the eaves, rafter, and these sidewall pieces. They really stretched out kind of funny. So what I did was I started right here. These two will butt together. So as I put this here, this end over here was not lining up with where it's supposed to be lined up. So I looked at the instructions and Christina recommended, she goes, hey, why don't you just start at this end over here, put it in first, because you know that they go like that. Because there's only 2 bolts on this side, the side beam, and 2 bolts on this side. They butt together. The drawing is real specific on that. Then you have brackets that go here, brackets that go here, and all that lined up. But over here on this side, it was 4 inches away from lining up to the bolt holes that are up there. I already have these Purlins up. The Purlins fit perfect. They fit perfect up here, bolt holes go in. And so if you remember the video back a while back, I was concerned about whether these end wall rafters pointed this way open or if it pointed outward open. In the instructions it says it would go either way. So let me show you that. Alright, so you can see right here, here's a side view of that end, and it says right down here, rafter orientation can be in or out. Okay, so they show it, they show a dotted line where it's pointed in like I have it, and you can see there are 4 sets of holes on this eave strut, and you use the inside 2 if you have it positioned like I have it, and then you use the outside 2 position where they have it on this side. So here's how I put it, since it could go either way. And let me show you this side view and what happened to this rafter on this side to make it fit in those holes. Okay, so you saw me put a strap to pull this outer edge out, and you can see the upper part of that is pretty straight right up here. You can see that I used the 2 inner holes like the drawing said to use. So you can see up there on that end how far that rafter is pulled out to make those bolt holes work. But we know that the Purlins down there all line up perfectly. You know, I'm not sure if that's okay or not. I mean, I guess I could measure that up there to see if I were to spin that rafter around. I'm not going to do that. That end wall rafter is going to stay where it is. I might take it and re-drill the holes. All that stuff's going to be covered up anyway, and that probably doesn't make any difference. But on another note, here's a nice thing that I got. Let me tell you a story about this deal. Boy, does this make it easy to do what I'm doing too. So a buddy of mine, a plumbing friend of mine, has an air conditioner friend that had a scissor lift, a 19-footer. And you know guys, I was really wanting to use what I had to put this up. My tractor, my Bobcat, the scaffolding that I bought. I wanted to use all that. But I tell you, it was a lot of work just to do these Purlins using a ladder on either side and the scaffolding in the middle and getting up and down and up and down. I could have done it, but it took time and it was a lot of work. So my plumbing friend had this friend Adrian that had the scissor lift, and Adrian said, yeah, shoot, yeah, you can borrow it, no problem, I don't need it right now. So I'm using a 19-foot Genie scissor lift. This thing's making everything so easy. So when I started with this sidewall piece, when I couldn't get it to fit back and forth, I mean, I tell you, it doesn't show it in the video a little bit earlier how long that took, but that took a couple hours to try to figure that out, back and forth, refitting it. I was thinking maybe this part overlapped within each other. Of course it didn't. When I look at the instructions, it doesn't overlap. But it wouldn't fit until I stretched that way out to do it. And Lewis, you had commented about making sure I had these things all finger tight before I did anything. And most all this stuff, the girths are all finger tight. These bottom pieces, Lewis, are not. I tightened those down and they're all really close to being level. but I did have to loosen this lower corner in order to come out just a hair, and it still stayed pretty plumb. These girts I loosened up a little bit so they could use whatever gap was there to open up. Still had to really twist it out. So that was a couple hours worth over here. After I figured out how to kind of do it, the other side that you see when I put it up here, I mean, guys, that took 10 minutes. It was no time at all. So we're gonna do this other side. We're gonna put all these purlins in, and I'm hoping I can get all this done today. Christina's not here today, but and I'm sorry that I don't do any commentating when I'm doing it. I'm thinking a lot of stuff in my mind, and I'm talking stuff out in my mind. I'm just not really saying a lot. Maybe I'll work on that a little bit better. When I'm doing a video on showing you how to rebuild a carburetor on a lawnmower, or you know, building something like the grapple, it's pretty easy for me to commentate through that stuff because I kind of know what I'm doing there. I don't have any idea what I'm doing here, so I kind of hate to commentate on this kind of stuff because I really don't know what I'm doing. But you know, it's coming along. We'll get it done. So Lewis, thanks for your comments, and Ray, cheers. Good day to you, buddy. Let's get started. So you can see up here on this end, it has got 4 holes here, and that would make a difference on whether this outer eave strut was facing outward or inward. Since it's facing inward, you use these two so that you have a little bit of overhang that matches all of the center purlins. It's got 2 holes here. I'm not sure what those are for, some other application of some kind. But we're gonna start out here on this outer side, and we're gonna work to the inside. This particular eaves does not have any uprights in between it like the other ones. All right, so you can see here that with those two in that position, these 2 holes are the ones that they're right underneath here, about right there. And I have to push this over 4 inches to go that way to get these in. And that does not seem right, because what it's going to do, it's going to take that end wall rafter and it's going to just twist it out. So I don't really know, it doesn't make any sense to me. It's almost like I got to re-drill those. I'm not taking those end wall rafters off though. It's not going to happen. So let's get this in place. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So let's go down there and see how far it had to push that out and see how plumb that sidewall is right now. Okay, so here's a couple of things. So I loosened those two upright bolts on the corners. You can see they can't go out any further than where they're at. It would protrude past the ledge. And then let's check the level of it real quick. Okay, so that's not terrible. It's out a little bit. And look at this. Look how far it's taken that and twisted it this way. And remember, those over there are in the spot that it needs to be. And this has got this just twisted all out. So I just don't know. Like I say, the details on this are really crappy, and we're going to keep moving forward. Okay, on this side, in order to keep that rafter straight like I like it right there, I'm going to measure about where those holes need to be, and I'm looking at about 4.5 inches. So let's re-drill this piece. All right, so that looks so much better to my eye for that being flat right here, and this sidewall piece comes almost perfectly plumb with this corner corner upright. And on the top up here is where the long angle iron comes along, and it can be adjusted a little bit. If it's a little bit inside, it can come out. You screw it in place, and that's what your sheet metal is going to screw to. So I like that. Now, am I going to do it to the other sides? I probably should. Boy, it is windy today. I don't know if I should be up here doing this. it.